I'm Andrew Fisher. I'm an operations manager at a public radio station in Boise, Idaho, and I am the guest interviewer today on Robert Benson's Solutions for Management. We're going to talk about OKRs and the book Measure What Matters by John Doerr.
And so we begin our series on OKRs. If you were surprised by the opening, yes, this is Robert Benson, it's still me. And I'll be joined for the next several weeks by guest host Andrew Fisher, who is interviewing me on the subject of objectives and key results. Without letting the cat out of the bag, I'm absolutely taken by this approach to generate goals and foster focused and aligned execution across the organization. I'm so impressed with it that I'm devoting the next 7 videos to the topic. In each of these, I'm joined by Andrew, who, besides being a wonderful host, is himself seeking to implement this methodology within his organization. And I offer one apology. We conducted the interview over Zoom, and I'm not currently enough of a tech wizard to know how to align the video and the audio. In short, there is a sucky lag that persists throughout. The perfectionist part of me is tempted to throw it out, but I believe that the content is so rich that you'll appreciate it anyway. Turn up the volume, throw a towel over the screen, and for the next 7 videos, pretend we're doing a podcast, not a video cast. Thanks for understanding. And with that, we'll return to the interview in progress. In today's video, Andrew and I describe how we came to the point of creating this series together and then define OKRs.
Ended up getting a job in radio, and I've been working there for 4 years. And over that 4 years, what I realized is I've done way more of the organizational side of things than I ever did, or more than I am with the radio side. You know, I do a little bit of radio stuff, but most of what I do is organizational, like spreadsheets and project management and all that stuff. And as I started going down that path and learning, you know, how to be a good manager and how to get things done in a timely manner and be more efficient, I started realizing, like, there's got to be some way to some process that you can use to figure out the most efficient way of doing a project, or just running the organization in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so I looked all over the place for you know, any kind of method that would help us as an organization, you know, figure out goals and stick to them. And I found objectives and key results through the book Measure What Matters, and that led me to you eventually. Uh-huh. And here we are.
Here we are.
So what's your story with objectives and key results? I know that I mean, you'd probably heard of them before I sent the book to you, or sent you the title of the book, and you probably ran into that book before.
So thank you for that credibility, but actually only like by a couple of days. So just a little bit of a backstory. This is Andrew Fisher. I'm Robert Benson, as everyone. Hopefully, if you've tuned into this video and this channel, you already know that much. Andrew and I met online 2 months ago, something like that. Late April, something like that. And it was around OKRs. And what had happened, I had put out a video, I think, back in January, February. I'll find it and I'll put the link in the description below. But I'd done a video on something that I was doing with a client around setting organizational goals and developing kind of performance management forms and processes based upon those goals. And I was really excited about it because it was better than some of the goal setting I'd seen, and it got around some of the management issues that come with having annual goals, competency-based performance measures. So anyway, so if you want to know more, watch that video. Anyway, Andrew said something like in a video, "Hey, interesting, like it. How is this different than OKRs?" And my response was, as I recall, Andrew, something like, "Thanks. I don't know actually because I don't know what OKRs are." But you weren't the first person to mention to me because about a week prior to that engagement, a client had actually said, I'm sorry, I just had my phone beeped, so let me just turn it off. A client, a different client who I was doing some goal setting with, and we were doing some talking about how we were going to do that. He came to me and said, "Wow, Rob, I just read this thing called OKRs, and I'd like to introduce it to our team." So I said, "Sure, let's do that." And so I'd sat through about a 2 or 3 minute talk from this CEO about OKRs that he'd just been introduced to. Well, then there was your comment, and I think my response to you was, "Hey, why don't we both dig into this since you have some knowledge of it. I have no knowledge, but it sounds like I should." And so I ordered the book, and we agreed we'd eventually meet up here. Well, the day after that, a former client reached out to me and said, "Hey, Rob, do you know anybody that could lead us through OKRs?" To which I typed back, "Well, if you'll give me a month or so, I'll be that guy." But anyway, short answer is I have no experience with OKRs other than what I've gotten since we've read the book, and I've now implemented it with two clients, or started implementing it with two clients because I've drunk the Kool-Aid. It really is it's similar enough to what I already know to be good goal setting and how do we align organizations all on the same path. It's in some ways it's the same, but in some important ways it's different than, and I think better than, the other goal setting processes that I know.
So that's, I think that's a good starting point. If you don't mind, you have a good understanding, a solid understanding of what these kinds of processes look like without OKRs.
Yes.
So from your perspective, what are OKRs? How are they different than what you're used to?
So OKRs stand for objectives and key results. How they are different? Well, frequently when organizations, let's just assume we're talking about working with executive teams, and we're starting at the top of the organization, right? We're setting organizational goals, okay? Most of the time, organizational goals are set, and they're set in such ways that they're long-term, so a year or more. Not bad in and of itself. The problem is that most organizations, we don't put benchmarks along the way to see how we're measuring it. So it becomes something of a hope and a wish, but without a real way to get from point A to point B, other than, hey, we hope everybody just does their best and charges behind it. So the first thing I'd say is the importance of that KR. Key results are the measurable benchmarks and building blocks that we're going to accomplish along the way, that if we'll hit our 3 or 4 key results that are tied to an objective, then that means we'll hit the objective. But it gives us both a path and a way to measure what we're doing. So,
thanks for watching Solutions Management with Robert Benson. I'm Andrew Fisher, guest interviewer. For more information, check the description below. You can also find contact information for Robert Benson and for myself if you have questions about OKRs from somebody who's trying to learn it.